And welcome back. Joining me now is Michael Pachuta. He and his wife have adopted 3 children. Michael, thank you for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, as we know, families come in all shapes and sizes. What does yours look like?
Currently, we have 1 natural and 3 chosen, 2 boys and 2 girls.
And the natural child, how old?
Natural child is MJ. He's 10 years old. And then we have Stephanie, who is 10 years old, and Gabriel, who is 4, and Danielle, who is 3.
So how did you get into this? I mean, it was instant expansion in your family, I guess.
The biggest shocking was the going back to diapers. We were out of diapers and we're back in. But my wife and I always wanted to have lots of kids, and we were unable to have more natural child kids. So while we were working with the youth group, one of the parents there had been a foster to adopt parent and introduced us to the program over at Orchard's Children's Services. And so we were lucky enough and blessed enough to have the opportunity to adopt 1 child, but with that came 2 siblings. So we ended up with 3 instead of 1.
So do you go into an adoptive setting or a foster setting knowing you're going to adopt, or is it something that people, folks like you, are considering just caring for children on a shorter, maybe just a longer term, but temporary basis?
Great question. Many people don't understand that there's an actual program called Foster to Adopt. And in that program, you go in with the intent to adopt, and the parental rights are either in the process of being terminated or have been terminated. So we went in with the full intention of adopting foster kids.
And of course, a lot of this is procedural. There's legal implications. There's things that we need to do in order to get ourselves in this situation. But what about the kids, the feelings, the family? How was that integration?
That has been amazing. With our oldest, MJ, we went to him and asked him if he'd like to have a little sister, and he said yes. And I had actually left on a business trip, so I got to Houston, got a call, and my wife said, there's an opportunity to have a little girl, which we had wanted to do, but she has a brother and a sister. And so we talked on the phone and thought it was the right thing for us to do. So we called MJ on the phone and asked him, we know you wanted a little sister, but she has a brother and sister. And his first words were, can we get all 3? And from that day forward, I can tell you the first day I can remember MJ saying my brother and sister. We were on a Cub Scout weekend going up north, and I had 3 boys in the back, and MJ was one of them. And out of their mouths, where they're talking about the brother and sister, and MJ says, well, my sister did that, and I was crying in the front seat. It was strong. Is
there any difference, Michael, between parenting a natural child and the foster to adopt kids? Is there a different approach, or the things you need to know, or is it just you do what you do?
You do what you do. It's love. It's time. It's caring. Depending on the age of the child when you're lucky enough to receive them, there might be experiences they remember. We've been fortunate that when we received the children, it was 6 years old, it was 18 months, and basically 2 months. So the 18-month and 2-month didn't really know anything else. They've just known what we've put in their minds and hearts. So.
And of course, more mouths to feed, that's going to impact the family budget, the family situation. Was it easy for you to go through this process, and then financially, beyond the day-to-day care, are there upfront costs or other kinds of things that people should be aware of if they're considering getting into this?
That's amazing. The Foster Adopt program literally is a 6 to 8 week training course, and you're going there 2 nights a week for 3 hours, but the cost is minimal. It's a couple $100. And the cost to do family vacations and such, yes, that's you have to take into consideration going to Disney when you have 4 instead of 1. But the cost has been well worth it. We now travel via car instead of via plane.
It's obvious what the children get from this advantage of being in your home. What do you get from it?
It's priceless. The amount of love, and I walk home and come in the door, and I have 4 kids climbing all over me and saying, Daddy, Daddy, and Daddy breakfast on Saturday mornings, and Mom is homeschooling now, and so it's priceless. And I used to tell people before they had kids was that when you have a child, it's 5 times the amount of work that you ever thought it would be, and it's 10 times the cost, but it's 50 times the joy. And a foster parent, natural parent, chosen parent, whatever you want to call it, it's still 50 times the joy.
We oftentimes find reasons not to do things. What are, you think, the greatest misconceptions about foster care or adoptive parenting?
That's a great question. The misconceptions to me are the amount of time it takes, the strings attached. Can the parents come back and take it? And I don't think most people know about foster to adopt. I think they link it together with foster, where I'll care for this child and then the child will find a permanent home. However, with foster to adopt, it truly is you're caring for the child and then you adopt the child, and it's not going to be taken away from you.
Do you see changes in your children, those who have joined the family, and MJ? Have they changed their personality, their disposition?
Yes, without a doubt. The learning to share for our oldest son with not only the toys, but the time, mom and dad time. And what we tried to work out through the summer was that once a week I would come home early and mom would get special time with each child. 3-4 hours, go out to dinner, whatever they wanted. And up front it was, great, it's my day. And about 2 months, 3 months into it, MJ was always asking, can Gabriel come? Can Danielle come? Can Stephanie come? Can we do it together? And each child now is doing that. It's your special day, but they want to take somebody with them. Well,
what about MJ in particular? I mean, that's a lot of sharing of mom, something that is new in his life. Is there a pecking order? How does that break down? Because I know sibling rivalries. How does that work out?
I was raised with 2 older sisters, and our kids treat each other just like my sisters and I did. So it's really not a pecking order. There's a boy-girl that are about a year, same age, year apart, and then there's another boy-girl. So it's like 2 sets of kids, which is fun because the older kids are helping with their little kids, their little brother and sister. And so I sit there and say, hey, grab your little one and let's go. And they all help each other out.
When you have the family unit together, are there things that you have developed with this new group, new traditions? Is there sort of a new family going forward?
No, it's just one family. We didn't try and designate what we did prior or what we did after. It's always been just, this is how our family operates, this is what our family does, and this is how we celebrate, and it's just what we do.
So was it worth it?
Without a doubt. No doubt, no delay whatsoever. It was one of the best things I've ever done, besides marrying my wife and having our own child.
Well, in just a minute to finish up here, what would you say to other folks who can really fill this unique need, whether foster or foster to adopt? What should they be thinking about, and how easy is it to make a difference?
It's extremely easy. Remember, you don't have to go outside the United States to find a child to love or a child to love you. There's plenty of kids right here in the United States, and with the foster adopt program, it's extremely simple. I would encourage everyone to look into it. We actually have programs over at Kensington Church to do just that, to help people with foster to adopt.
Michael Pachuta, thank you for sharing your story with us. We're sure that you've made a difference in the lives of your children, of course, and hopefully in the lives of folks who are watching today.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.